for the tie. Off the rim, and it's over. This miracle run continues.
Seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
At midcourt, extra pass.
And again,
Along with Sutter, they were best free throw shooter. Five in the stretch.
the lob, and that will do it. Do you believe it? For just the second time ever.
Hello and welcome back to Minardi Madness. In this segment, I'll be covering the Western Conference playoff matchups along with some predictions for round 2. If you haven't, go check out the Eastern Conference coverage that I also did. But let's just get right into this. By starting out, we're going to look at the number 1 seed in the West, the OKC Thunder. They looked great, and they definitely exceeded expectations. You know, a lot of people thought these guys were too inexperienced, but so far they look pretty good, coming off a sweep versus the Pelicans in round 1, and then now they're tied 1-1 versus the Mavs in round 2. And the key for success for them has really just been sticking together as a team. A really young group of guys with a great coach, in my opinion. Loved the way how the Thunder front office just stacked up on future draft picks, and now the vision looks to be almost complete. And along with the still a really amazing future, but definitely I think they're succeeding because of the chemistry that they have with each other. I mean, you see clips of them, they almost look like an AAU team, but let's just look at some of their performers. Of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is their leading scorer with 28.5 points per game in the postseason. I personally think that he should have won MVP. Just so consistent throughout the season, you know, scoring 30 or more in over 50 games this season. One of the only players to do that. Of course, Jokic filled up the stat sheets too, you know, triple-doubles and stuff, but I personally think it should have been SGA. Really, you could have made a case for him, Jokic, Luka, even Jalen Brunson too. When you look at a really valuable player for a team, I think that's what Brunson is. Honestly, the difference between when he's in and when he's out, you know, you saw when he went out with that foot injury, it's crazy. So when you think of an MVP, I think that's kind of what Brunson is. But anyway, Shai's still performing well in the postseason. Jalen Williams averaging 20. Chet Holmgren was 16 and 8, and then Lou Dort, you know, Josh Giddey, both averaging double digits in scoring. Just a great group with good bench players too. Still playing well now, tied up 1-1 against the Mavs. Mavericks looked a lot better in the last game, so I think it's going to start getting tougher for OKC in this series. But let's just look at Dallas now for a second. They took the series against the Clippers in 6, and I think the problem for the Clippers was, of course, Kawhi not being healthy, but also the way that Harden and Paul George perform. You know, we saw in Game 4 on the road, they both scored 30-plus points, just how much that's needed, because after that, not great performances at all from either of them, and resulting in 2 losses when they didn't perform well. And for the Mavs, just great performances from Luka and Kyrie to push them to the second round. Luka averaging 28 with 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Kyrie is averaging 25, almost 2 steals. Everybody pretty much under double digits besides them. So they're pretty reliant on their 2 stars to try and push them to a win each game. But they look great when they're on. Both tough shot makers. Luka and Kyrie, who's just so crafty. Best handles of all time. So tough to guard. But in this series versus the Thunder, I definitely think that the guys around them are going to need to step up more if they want to win. And this happened last night. P.J. Washington had 29. Luka had 29. Great performance like usual from him. Daniel Gafford at 13. Even Tim Hardaway had 17. So really just the Mavs need other guys to contribute because they can't just rely on their stars to carry them. And we see it in this game, a lot of role players hitting shots, and they were able to take the game. Kyrie only had 9 points, in fact. Obviously, 11 assists is great too, but they didn't need a huge scoring game from him. And now for my prediction, I originally had Thunder in 6 before the series. I think this still should happen. Again, if the Mavs want to win, they're going to need great performances from everyone at their best, but I think they have a chance too. We saw it Thursday night. They looked great as a team. But now moving on to our other second round matchup, we were looking at the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And man, the Wolves are playing just great all around. Starting in the first round, 4-0 sweep against the Suns. And in this one, Anthony Edwards just showed why he's different. He's got the same mentality as Kobe and Jordan, but does it talking trash and with a smile. Edwards averaging 32 in this postseason, and then he's got a lot of great pieces around him as well. It's not only him at all. Cat averaging 20, Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, 13 and 10 boards, and a block per game. And then you got other great players, Mike Conley, Naz Reid, the sixth man of the year, and then Jaden McDaniels, Alexander Walker, two great defenders who can also score the ball. If you know anything about 2K, they're kind of like pure lockdowns with just a really good three-point shot. So just two dogs absolutely bringing intensity on defense. But yeah, the Wolves completely dominated the series versus the Suns and looking to do the same in these first two games. Before looking at the series, let's just look at the Nuggets real quick. Obviously dominated the Lakers, which was pretty much expected. For the past 2 years, Nuggets have pretty much owned the Lakers. Jokic in the playoffs is the leader in all points, rebounds, and assists, but overall the Nuggets as a team just play really good against the Lakers. Jamal Murray turns on that clutch gene in the end. Michael Porter has been shooting it really well, and Aaron Gordon has also been playing really well. But this actually all changed once they faced the Wolves. I mean, as I said before, the whole team is just all around great. And I'm not going to lie, it's looking like it could be a sweep. They can't really defend both bigs, Cat and Gobert, really well against the Nuggets on D. They match up really well against the Nuggets on defense. And something the Lakers couldn't really do well, which was defend Jokic. The Wolves actually look really good as they have two really good bigs on the defensive end. And mind you, Gobert didn't even play in Game 2, so this is looking pretty rough for the Nuggets. So I also think McDaniels and Alexander Walker, not only them, but the whole team, they've matched up really well with the Nuggets as defensive intensity as a whole, which they haven't seen yet, the Nuggets. Anthony Edwards as well, matching up really well against the Nuggets. He takes pride in the defensive end, which I love, and no one really able to guard him on offense either. Overall, it's not looking good for the Nuggets. I know it's kind of early to speak, still only 2 games in, but with the way that the Wolves are looking to be absolutely just dominating in this series, I think this ends soon. So for my prediction, I know it's weird to say it now, but originally I did have Wolves in 6. You could believe me or not, but I just really thought they matched up well with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns against Jokic. I thought that's something the Lakers didn't have. Two great bigs who could defend, and then also kind of really hard for the Nuggets to guard them on offense. But I guess we'll see if the Nuggets can make their way back into this series on the road. That's all I got for you in this segment. And if you haven't yet, go check out the Eastern Conference video.